Hey YouTube, welcome to the channel, welcome to this video as well. I'm Jamie with Scrub Games. I'm here to bring you the first Dragon Ball Super video to the channel, which is, as the title suggests, a Store Championship format deck profile for Ginyu. So one thing, for anybody that knows me, my favourite characters in the game are Ginyu and the Ginyu Force. I love them. Big because I mainly watched. First thing was the Dragon Ball Super growing up, and Ginyu became one of my favourite characters. Like, he's just goofy, and yeah, it's the unique ability to be a skill chain body swap as well, which I found useful, and especially in the old Budokai games where you used to play Ginyu. So with this format, if you're not familiar with what the Store Championship format is, it's basically a special format for the Store Championships in August, where you can only play cards from the Universe and Warriors series. So that means any cards from set 10, promos from the set 10 tournament pack, from the free starter decks, the exclusives you can play third, so you can't play Beam from there, but you can play exclusives, and also the ever promos, like pre-release promos, like the reboot Soul Striker. Sorry, got a dry mouth. Throwing just doesn't seem to go away. So with this, I'm gonna go through my list. I will be as being a Ginyu Force player, Ginyu Force fan, and the new Ginyu Force deck coming out in the new set. I'll obviously be picking this to my my Store Championships that I play, and therefore give basically just share my list and share why I think is such a good deck. So with it being green, it's a very it's got some good utility cards, which is quite nice, and it's quite an aggro deck as well, which I'll go over in a bit, and it's also some nice defensive options while being aggro. So start off with the leader. So leader is a Ginyu card, green. It's got an auto when this card attacks, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's green Ginyu Force, range costs 2, you can play it and then draw 1. So fun fact with this is, well, with that effect, it's really strong in the fact that you can free play your Ginyu Force cards, which is quite nice. And then draw cards, you get a +2 from the swing, which is quite nice. But the fun fact with this is, if you reveal the top card of your deck and it's not Ginyu Force, what you do is shuffle the deck, then draw 1. So if you reveal like a extra card, you don't draw that instead as the card, you shuffle your deck, then draw. So one thing is, one might be a card you want, you might not get it, but it just is handy in the fact that you don't reveal what you're drawing from the deck to your opponent, which is quite nice. And then it's got Awaken, that is a 2-part, well, not 2-part, but 2 different ways to awaken. First is when your life is at 4 or less, or if you have 4 more Ginyu Force cards in play in your battle area. So the good thing about that is you can, if you get down to 4, you can awaken. But the good terminology with this is 4 more Ginyu Force cards. So not gold, just like one gold or 1 Berta, blah blah blah, 1 of each. Just 4 Ginyu Force. So even though the spoilers, the Ginyu Force cards, Gordo, Berta, Jace, and Riku all have unique. Being a new keyword skill, that basically means you can control one copy of that card on the field at any time. There's also the starter deck Ginyu, which doesn't have unique. So if you can't get 1 of each on the field, get a Ginyu as well with the other ones, or multiple Ginyus with the other ones. Can help you awaken that way. So it means it's handy that if you get down to 4, you can awaken, or if you can eventually awaken with more life, so you can survive more hits, which is handy. And then with that, the finish off the awaken, it's a draw 2, the flip the card over instead of an untap 2, which is handy in the fact that while you are untapped to extend your plays, most of your cards that you play you're playing for free, and use your energy to play like Unison or utilities. Drawing 2 gives you extra advantage with side, so you basically gain a lot of advantage from this leader, which is nice. It was one thing that drew me to it for the Store Champs and for playing it in normal events. And going on to the Awaken side, it's the exact same auto on the Awaken side, but this time now it's got an Activate Battle that's once per turn and costs 1 green energy. You choose one green Ginyu Force card in your battle area, and it gains 10,000 power for the battle. So it's handy offensively to make your Ginyu Forces 10k stronger, or defensively to give your Ginyu Force 10k. So if they're supposed to swing at your Ginyu Force to try and get rid of them because the battle cards that can give you more swings, you can protect it by giving an extra 10k power for 1 energy. So almost like a just a 1 cost 10k defense. You don't use it often, but as I said, you don't use much energy to play your cards. You can only play them for free. So sometimes you will have energy open to do that. So that's leader. So very aggro, and a lot of advantage generated by it. So we go on to the deck. So I only play one Unison, which is the Golden Frieza Unison of Malice. Sorry, I couldn't see it for then. So it's a two specified green Unison. So that means as if you did it with Unisons, you can pay as many energy as you want to play Unison, as long as you meet the specified cost requirements, which would be in this case 2 green. And then when it comes to play against that many markers, so normally you want to be playing this turn 2 for the following reasons, being its effects. The first one, and the one you'll be using the most, is a +1 marker effect. Activate main. You can draw a card from the top of your deck, then place any card in your hand on top of your deck, back on top of your deck, and then it gains critical turn. So there's multiple points in this. So 1, you get to draw a brand new card and replace it with a Ginyu Force on top of your deck, ready for your leader. And then you get to give it critical, which is a handy skill because it means that when it swings, if it connects, be it 15k as well, means it's always going to connect by no matter if their leader's unawakened or awakened. This means if they take it, if you swing with the critical, they can either take it and lose a life to drop instead of hand, or they waste a card comboing out to not lose a life to drop. So it's just a nice skill, and it mainly helps your leader set up to get out advantage. The neighbour effect is a -2 marker skill. Activate main. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, if they want to attack with a battle card, or if they want to declare an attack, they have to place 1 battle card with energy cost of 2 or more in the drop area. Each time they attack. So it's not just the first time they attack; it's every time they attack, which is good. That means they got to lose battle cards to be able to swing. But but one thing they can do is if they fill up a board full of swing attackers, they can swing the first one, sack off something else. Then for every swing after, they just basically sack off whatever they swung with last, as long as it's 2 cost or more. So that means if they got loads of weenie 1-drops, they can't sack them off to attack, and which is handy. So we play 4 of that because we want to make it get it turn 2, so you can start gaining the advantage with the leader by drawing card, putting something on top, putting Ginyu Force on top of the deck, and then swing a leader to free play. Next card we got is a card that can help find the Golden Frieza Unison. But one thing I will say is with this card, I'm only getting over the auto because the activate main you can activate with this leader because it requires a green Frieza, whereas the leader's a green Ginyu. So this effect is when you play this card, you put the top 5 cards of your deck, choose either a Unison with a specified cost of 2, that's green, or a green Frieza's army with energy cost of 4 or less, and add it to your hand. So basically it's a handy turn 1 play to find the Unison if you don't have it, or handy turn 1 play to basically just find when you get your force ready for if you do have the Unison, the next turn play the Unison, top deck it, so it can be played for free. Other than that, it's just a combo piece or energy charge. The next card we got is the extra card. So every colour in this set 10 got a extra card. They don't contain the attack, but they have different effects. But they all have the permanent of if you have a Unison that's the same colour as the card, essentially, you can activate it for free without paying the energy cost. And this one is if your leader card is mono green, there's no dual colour cards in set 10, leaders in set 10, so as long as your leader card's the same colour, play it. To clarify, so choose any number of your opponent's battle cards, add up to its energy cost of 2 or less, KO them. Additionally, if you choose one green card in your hand, discard it. You your opponent can only attack once more this turn. So it's a really strong card defensively in the fact that it can pop cards on your opponent's board and restrict your opponent to only be able to attack two times that turn. So the handy thing is, turn 2 you're going to play that unison down. You're going to do all this stuff, use the effect. So we're going to get the Ginyu that you just top decked on the field, and then be fine. And then just basically pass after swinging loads. And it just means in your opponent's turn, you can limit on their first attack. You can limit on the first attack they do. You play that to make basically just say you can attack this attack plus after this attack you got one more attack, because it doesn't need attack, but it limits the amount of attacks they can have. So it means that Unison will survive, because unless they got double striker, which if you're killing with the dormant potential unleashed, your Unison will survive and you'll not be taking too many attacks. The handy thing is, if they swing with a battle card that's 2 costs or less when they attack, and you play this card in response to limit the attacks, you technically negate the attack because you're then KOing it, as long as it hasn't got barrier. So it's a very strong card, and the best one, in my opinion, for this set. The green got the best one. And then the next card we play is Dora. It's basically the same Kaba, like from set 1. When it attacks, you can take a life, and it gets 10k and double strike. This is more there to help yourself awaken if you can't get the Ginyu Force on the board, and the pressure to the Unisons, because with it's got having double strike, it takes 2 marks instead of 1. Like your leader would take 2 life instead of 1. You can take 2 marks instead of 1, so helpful to get rid of opponents. Most Unisons are 15k, and normally some are a bit more powerful, but this is great in that with the Unisons, they have the same steps when they attack as a battle card, but when they're defending, they have no defensive step. So handy thing was this: use for 1 cost, for 1 energy, you can swing, take a life, and then take 2 marks on your opponent, which is quite handy. So it helps you kill Unisons or pressure the leader more. Then the next card we got is the super combo. In my opinion, as well, this is the best super combo out of the colors for this format, and here is why. It's got 2 autos. First one is standard super combo effect of if your leader is the same card as the card, and you have 4 or less, draw a card when you combo with it. Standard super combo effect. And then the other effect is if your leader is mono green, when you play this card, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. So they choose a card in hand, discard it. So this is really good in the fact that it's a +1 technically, because if you play it, because you basically for 1 energy you can discard a card, so you're limiting your basically for 1 energy you're reducing the amount of cards your opponent has, and then when you combo with it, you then replace yourself. So it's technically +1, really strong. Because things like the Zeno and Zeno, you got to play it to draw the card, which makes it sensible. Whereas this, you can play it, make it discard and swing, combo off. Whereas the things like Zeno, when it's comboed, you don't get the draw, you get the effect. You got to play it to get the draw. And like with the Gohan in yellow, you either get the draw or something else. Whereas this can get both effects easy enough. The next card we got is Starter Deck Ginyu. As with Zarbon, I'm going to go first effect because the second effect is not relevant to the leader. And his effect is when it's played, you choose either your leader card or a green unison, it gets 10k power. So be on the free play as the leader, and then make your leader 25k or 20k, depending on which side it's on. It's really strong, and even giving your unison an extra 10k after getting critical, it's very strong because 25k critical, I would definitely take it in life, or losing a lot of cards to combat with it. And it's just never getting you forced up awaken and 15k body for free, so it's really good. That's what we got it for. Next we have Dark Death Ball. So like with Dormant Potential, every colour got a counterplay, and they will have a permanent. If you have a unison card of the same colour on the field, you can play it without paying its energy cost by instead discarding 2 cards. So the handy thing with this is where you gain so much advantage from the leader by just by playing so for free and drawing, and draw when you awaken. You normally have plenty of cards in hand, so just basically play it for free if you've got the unison. And the effect of it is, if you have a green unison card placed, you need a unison player to play it anyway. If the battle card being played is 4 costs or less, it's placed in the drop area instead, and then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards as 1 cost or less, up to of energy cost of 1, and pop it. Yeah, so it's basically a what's it called? It's like the counter play, the perimeter strike, but you need a green unison, and you can play it you can technically play it for free by discarding 2 cards. And if they've got a 1 cost that isn't got barrier on the field, you can pop that as well. So you're playing it for free just because it's not relevant. So like if you can sometimes you'll charge it if it's not useful. If you have a unison, you charge it, but it's just there for if you have a unison. You can limit withdrawal potential cards they could attack, how many attacks they have, and with Dark Death Ball you can limit the stop their plays as well. So while being aggressive, you're quite defensive as well with the cards. Next we have the Ginyu Force line. So the other members of the Ginyu Force aren't Ginyu. One thing they will have in common is the new keyword unique. New unique is what basically unique does is means it basically says you can only play 1 copy of this card on the field at any time, which does suck, but otherwise the deck would be so oppressive because they're all 15k, so they're hitting the leader for the same leader for the on the awakened side for the same amount of power. I mean, every swing you've got a combo out, everyone's taking the damage, and with like some of them you can play Everest for free, so you can if they're unique they spam out loads, and it'd be pretty, in my opinion, busted. But this is to restrict them. So the first thing we got is the Guldo. So he's got 2 activate mains. The first one is an activate main from your hand. Second one is activate main while on the field. So the first one is if you lose a Ginyu Force, you can discard it. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and place them on the top and or bottom of your deck in any order. So the handy thing with this is turn 1, if you're going second and you open this and you have this in your hand on your first turn, you can discard it, look at top 3, so you can look for that Ginyu Force, put on top of your deck as the next card on your deck, and then so you can swing your lead and get that advantage of playing something and drawing one. And the good thing is it says top and or bottom of the deck, so you can put whatever you want on the top if you don't want on the bottom. And it's a different wording than the Invoker stuff. The Invoker extra cards say place it back on top of the deck, whereas this just says it's at top and or bottom. And the other effect is exactly the same as it, but instead it's a field, what is on the field is look at the top 5 instead of 3. So look at top 5 and rearrange them. So it's really handy. Basically means you can look at what you're going to draw. You can use it to look at what you're going to draw from Awakening, what you're going to have on top for a leader's effect, or for what you're going to draw from the super common stuff. So aside from that, it basically follows the theme. Then next we have Berta. So he's unique, but he's also blocker. So he's the blocker of the 4, and he's got the effect of at the end of your turn, you can switch it to active mode, so you can swing with him and switch him at the end of your turn back to active mode. Then you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and place them on top or bottom of your deck. So it's handy in the fact that you set up your next turn basically. So end of turn you set the next top 3 cards, so you know what you're going to have to draw for that's like your next turn, and what the other 2 cards are. So say swing with so you can have something you want to draw for turn, a Ginyu Force top of your deck to swing a leader, and then something you want to draw, or if you don't want any of them, put them to the bottom. This is really handy. Jace, he is just a unique. When he attacks, look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and add 1 Ginyu Force to your hand among them, and then place a rain on top of the bottom of your deck. So this allows you to plus 1 Ginyu Force to your hand. So basically, gain a card on top of it, because where you got a lot of Ginyu Force, you most likely, and it doesn't specify a cost. You can grab any Ginyu Force, which is handy. So you can grab the ones that are more than 2 cost. And it's basically just a plus 1 when it swings to get you more advantage. Then we got Raccoon. His effect is if you lose a Ginyu Force card, which is when you play it, when this card's played, you choose up to 1 green Ginyu Force card with energy cost of 2 in your hand and play it. So basically, he's the one you mainly want to have because you can play him. With him, you basically play 2 cards instead of 1. The other ones you basically just play them, where Raccoon will play. So with the lead effect, you swing, play Raccoon, draw a card, and then Raccoon will then play one of the other ones with the Ginyu onto the field. So it helps further your way to awaken by having awaken at more life than 4. Next we got the 2 Ginyu cards, the 4 costs. First we got is the Ginyu the Body Snatcher, 4 cost 20k, got double strike. He's got a permanent of Ginyu opponent's turn, he might lose a 10k, so it's a 10k battle card on your opponent's turn. To activate main of, you can place one battle card that you've taken by one of your skills from your opponent in the drop, and then play itself. So if you're taking something from your opponent, you can sack it off to play itself. And when you play it, you choose all Ginyu Force in your battle area, and you get 10k for the turn. This is really handy to, if you got all 4 on the field, to give them all a 10k boost to turn 15ks into 20ks. It's really strong. Even if you get turn 4 and you've got more on the field, you can just hard cast it. It's quite fun. And a way to bring that out free is the next one, Ginyu, the Backbone of the Force. So he's got an effect of, if you control one of each of the Ginyu Force, so Gildo, Berta, Jason, Riku on the board, you can play for free. Then when you play them, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards that doesn't have barrier, take it, and then give them this card. So this is how you play the Body Snatcher free. You play this, take something of theirs, give them that, and then you sack off what you play. To play the Ginyu Body Snatcher to give your guys a boost. And it also affects, and also the boost also affects himself, so he turns into 30k when he's on that turn. Players, both of those are free because they're combo power, which is handy, and you've got to wait until later turns, so that's why they're free each. But they're both pretty strong, both of their benefits, that's why they're included. And being in the set 10 format, is a limited card pool. And next card we got is the Freezer. So like with Dark Death Ball and Dormant Potential Unleashed, each colour got a counterplay card in the form of battle card. This one's not the strongest, but it's one of the strongest, and I'll go over why. So it's a counterplay, which says you can activate counterplay skills of other cards for the turn. When you do trigger its counterplay, and then you play this card. So if you want, basically, you activate the counterplay, can't play any more after counterplays after you play this, and you play it itself. And it's got a permanent of when you if you have a green unison card of 2 markers or more. So they all got the same permanent of, if you got a unison with 2 markers or more, it's the same colour as the card itself, you can play it without paying its cost. So when you got the unison, Freezer unison with 2 markers or more on, it's a free play counterplay. And it's got any auto of when you play it, which is when your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 7 or less, and pop it. So it's really strong. So with that Dormant Potential Dark Death Ball, you've got loads of free ways to just stop your opponent doing anything on their turn, and then aggro them on your turn, which is why one of the reasons why I've got the strongest colour for this format, and probably one of the strongest decks for this format. And we only play free because you run out a unison. So if you don't have a unison, it's not as strong. If you do, it's very strong. But you want to see it, but you don't want to see too many if you don't have a unison. So that's why we got free. And the last card we got is the green secret rare from the set. The 8 cost Great Masse and Primal Carnage. So use an ultimate, like all secret rares have, use an ultimate, meaning you can only play 1 copy in the deck. And its first effect is an auto of, if your leader is mono green and you remove this card in your combo area from the game, when it's using the combo, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, no one barrier and KO it. So it's handy if your opponent's, so basically this just means that if your opponent's going all in to kill you with a battle card, that you basically just means you can't go all in with you on a battle card, because you'll just pop it with it if you have this in hand. And then it's got another effect, so you utilise it, which is activate main, paying 5 green, which is easy because it's your mono green deck. Place it on your hand, and it gains dual attack and triple strike, so it's your big turn finisher. But that's the main deck. I kept it at 50 to make sure consistency, because you basically just want to see the unison. You want to consistently see the unison in other cards, and yeah. So basically, just it's at 50 to keep consistency. Because outside of that, you're less likely to see things like the unison stuff. I only play the Freezer unison because it's the one that benefits the deck, and I don't play the Zarbon because the only one drops you got is the Dorian. Well, you got the Dorian Zarbon you can use and then reuse after, but you're not always going to see it, and most of the time you use your energy to just keep flooding the 2 drops just to keep swinging and pushing, or keep it a move from Dark Death Ball to tap rather than discard 2 cards. And normally you play Zarda, turn 1 play Zarbon, look for the unison or Ginyu. Turn 2 play the Golden Freezer, so you can start top decking the Ginyus. and then after that you want to leave the energy open for a Dark Death Ball and Freeze on Imprints to basically just use that energy to slot their plays or making discard and stuff, or even turn 3 to help you to play the 4th Ginyu so you can awaken with high life. Onto the sideboard, I'll go through this quick because they're just cards that could be handy in the format. So we've got Tower, which is a 1-cost counterplay, and when you play it, you draw a card and you put any card, no, it says card, not battle card, extra card, it's card, and your opponent's drop back on the deck. So this is handy for things like if any deck's got like Shadow Dragons have graveyard specific things, like they revive the 1-drop Shadow Dragons. You can counterplay when your opponent plays something if you've got an energy open. To play itself, draw a card, basically replace itself, so you've got an extra card, and then play something in the drop that you don't want in the drop back on top deck, like the, as I said, the 1-drop Shadow Dragons or the Tournament Pack Zarbon. Next we have is a 4th Dorius. If you want to be more aggressive and 1-drops, got an extra one inside, so you play 3 in the main because it's just nice to have, but you don't want to see too many copies. Like you mainly want cards at 4 to see more copies, to see as many copies as possible, and the ones you want at 3, you want to see the card early, but you don't want to see too many copies, and then anything lower than that is more just either tech choices because it's 1, or tech choices to just try and help you see things like the Zarbon to try and help you see the Unison. The next card we got is Mecha Gabura. So it's got Deflect. When this card's played, declare an original energy cost and character name, so it'll be the cost in the top left corner and the card in the box at the bottom that says name, and until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent can't play cards with both the declared character name and energy cost, original energy cost, and you can't play copies of this card next turn. So you basically play this before the turn before. Your opponent will play a card that you don't want to play and name the energy cost and the character name on the card to sort of play that turn. But then after that, you have to wait another turn after. You have to wait a turn after the next turn to be able to play another one, and it's got an activate main which isn't relevant because you didn't play the card that it can get relates to. You play 4 of those because 1 is a 2-cost, 2 is 15k, so it can still pressure on awaken, sorry, and 2 it can help you stop your opponent from put your opponent's turn behind, so you can stop a like Sinchon from being played until a turn later, or and then even then it's just a 15k beat stick. Next card we got is Ginyu, Captain of the Elite from the Tournament Pack. So he's a counter attack, negate the attack and play this card, but it's got a permanent of during your opponent's turn if you've got a Unison card in play, a green Unison card in play, reducing your cost for 2 in your hands, it becomes a 1-cost negate, which is quite handy, so you slide this in for if you need like actual negates. It's a handy one for this, and it's got a also you might not use, you might do, depends. It's when this card's played, choose the 1 green freezes army card with an energy cost, with a power of 9,000 or less. When you drop area, add it to your hand, and if you do, choose a card in your hand, discard it. So only targets for it really in this are the Doria and the Zarbon. So if you lose, you want to, so it's handy to help you grab the Zarbon to help search for more cards if you want to use that 1 energy, or the Doria to help you aggro more. But it's mainly used as a 1-drop, 1-cost negate. The next 2 cards are nice utility options. So the first one is SS Goku, Product Saiyan, so it's a double strike, 5k, can't be removed from your battle area by skills. The first order we don't care about because we're not playing the cards and make you actually use that effect. But we'll mainly use it for the last effect, which is the auto. When this card is played, choose all your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, which is the main point, ignoring barrier, and KO them. So it's a board wipe for 5 energy. So you've got a big board and your opponent's got blockers, you can play this on 5 energy. If you don't want to play the ape, wipe their board of their blockers, of all their cards that are apart from Unison. So you got clear swinging after, and double strike means you can pressure quite again, and 25k is quite handy. And the last card is an Overwhelm card, Secret Identity Mass Saiyan, Overwhelm 6, you need 6 cards in your drop to be able to play it. When this card is played using Overwhelm, choose any number of your opponent's cards, battle cards, that add up to energy cost, total of 6 or less, and send to a warp. So one good thing is it's free play, 25k, beat stick. 2, you can get rid of any battle cards any amount of battle cards at up to a total cost of 6 when your opponent's field, and 3, it doesn't send drops into the warp. So the handy thing with this is, unlike the old Mass Infinite first expansion, you could hit blockers, whereas that one couldn't. So it's really it's mainly used to get rid of blockers, and then pressure for a 3 to okay. It's not too bad to get off in this deck because you get so much advantage. You can just combo hard in to then play that, or defensively to then play it. So that's the deck. So this is most likely the deck I'm going to be playing for my store championship, at least the first one definitely. Maybe all of them, depends how I feel. I want to try and play different decks for each one I enter. Because it kind of does get boring to play the same deck all the time. And with this format it's a nice change from the standard play. Yeah, that's legit. This is what I'm playing. Hopefully it's give you a bit of help on a deck to play or something to look out for. So I feel this deck will be quite strong for the format. But if you can like this, if you like the video, give this video a like, or comment if you've got any advice about the deck, or anything you want answered. I've gone over it as best I feel I've gone over it pretty well. If there's anything you want to ask, or any advice you want to give to help improve this, then just add a comment below and I'll answer as best I can. And I'll definitely respond to every comment below. And also something that can help me is subscribe to my channel, as this is the first video. I'm starting brand new. I feel I've got quite a decent amount of experience because I've had a lot of experience with card games. I started Dragon Ball when it first came out, and I've had before that a lot of experience with Yu-Gi-Oh! So I had probably over a decade of card game experience, and I feel it could be quite helpful for helping people with building decks or things to play or ideas. But anything that could help me, and hopefully bring some more deck videos. And what I'm going to do is for this month, being August, is all the events we've got, really our store championship events with this format. So I'm going to try and bring more different decks that I will play for this format. But until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.